Well, music's still playing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Climate Tech Pitching Track, sponsored by PwC. We are extremely happy to be with you here today because for me, it's the 5th time that I'm running this competition, and I'm very happy to share with you who is with us in the jury. They are here in the front row, actually. We have here Ewelina Łukasik, ESG Manager of PwC. Great. Jose Miguel Salazar Hernandez, the ESG Manager of PwC CE. Daniel Rees, Investment Manager of UVC Partners. Michał Sobczyk, Regulatory and Public Affairs Manager at CE at Inna Energy. And Maciej Majewski, CEO and Head of Acceleration at Axel Point. So thank you all for joining. I can see that the room is filling here, and I believe on the Hopin platform as well. Right now, before we move on to the pitching, I would like to invite on stage Jeffrey Macmillan, Brand and Comms Director at PwC Central and Eastern Europe, to say a few words.
That should work. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Climate Tech Pitching Track, sponsored by PwC, part of the Great Pitch Contest here at this edition of the Wolves Summit in Wrocław. My name is Jeffrey Macmillan. I am indeed the Brand and Communications Director for PwC in Central and Eastern Europe. This is actually my 2nd time at the Wolves Summit. I was here back in November in Wrocław and was really, really impressed by what I saw. This is a truly international event that I think shines a strong and positive light on the tech and innovation sector here in the CEE region. And as a Canadian who's been based in Warsaw and lived and worked in the CEE region for over 20 years, I'm really impressed by the work that the Wolves Summit does, actually, in attracting foreign investment into our part of the world, my adopted home, and serving it as an engine of economic growth and also value creation through innovation. It's important stuff. At PwC, our purpose is to solve problems, important problems, to build trust leading to sustained outcomes. And I'm really hopeful that in our partnership with the Wolves Summit and in our work together with all of you this year, we're going to make some significant progress in helping to solve one of the very most significant problems, important problems that we all face. For more on that, and to help welcome you to this session, maybe I'll ask to just roll a very quick video clip from our PwC UK partner, Leo Johnson. If you look carefully, you might notice a family resemblance to someone. He'll help welcome you, and then, without further ado, after the clip, we'll begin our pitch contest. So, best of luck to all today's startups. Thank you guys so much in the jury for helping do this, and please enjoy the session. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Leo Johnson. I head up PwC's Disruption Innovation Group, and we're really focusing in on net zero innovation. Why? Because we know that we've got to decarbonize, and we've got to bend that emissions arc downwards. We've got to decarbonize 5 times faster than we are at the moment, 12.9% a year, if we want to avoid more than 1.5 degrees of warming. And we just ain't going to do that unless there's one lever that we pull and pull really hard, and that is climate tech. And I'm really thrilled to welcome you to this great gathering of climate tech specialists, because this is the lever that can help find that hard to abate carbon in sectors which aren't getting the right funding, and ignite the financing that they need, ignite the know-how they need, ignite the policy that they need, get the mix together to try to bring us back within the goal. It's brilliant that there's this collaboration between the Wolves Summit and PwC. This is an issue where there's a huge risk if we get it wrong, but there's a huge opportunity just to rethink these sectors where the types of exponential technologies that the wolves entrepreneurs are bringing to the package can just reimagine, deliver 10x solutions and deliver a type of growth that's going to solve these problems. We're really thrilled to be part of this and really hope that some of you will even feature in the Future 50 report that the CEE region is going to be doing, and really looking forward to spending some time with you together in the future. Good luck to all.
Good luck to all. To who? To startups pitching. I said that the jury is here in the front row, but here right next to them we've got our startups. All right, so without further ado, we should start with the first pitch. It's going to last for 3 minutes, and then there will be 4 minutes for the Q&A. So I would like to invite on stage the startup called MTAP Smart City, and Victor should be ready right here. All right, I am starting the clock. Take it away.
Hello, my name is Victor, and I will be showing you how we reduce energy costs in one tap. So basically, energy is expensive in Poland, Europe, and globally. So how we can cut the cost of the energy? Light can be up to 50% of the energy costs. So how to reduce the light energy cost? Simply turn off the lights. But that's a stupid idea. You can do this in the bad way or good way. The bad way is to go around and switch the switches and yell like your father, hey, turn off the lights because we don't have money for bills. But there is a good way. Automation, prediction, and optimization. We have come up with the solution, which is connecting hardware, software, and AI for making those things. We take the data from sensors and optimize the usage of the energy of the lights of industrial and smart city implementations. So what we do better? Our competitors give local controllers, global access, and we give the optimization for those things. So basically, on one hand, we've got the possibility to reduce the carbon usage and so on. But on the other hand, we are entering this market because it's still growing. And now, up to now, we have 70 million lamps, and in next six years, there will be 60 million lamps more. And the market is growing 4x for the next 6 years. So we as a team are ready for scaling this kind of startup because we have hardware competences, cloud competences, and we know how to run the business because we have been running business together for the last 9 years. We have worked with big things like Airbus, Woodward, or startups from electromobility, Hop City, and retail robotics. We have proved that we can scale. We have sold in this first quarter 200 light points, and now we are delivering 500 of new lamps on our platform. Until this year, we should have 2,000 light points on our platform. In the future, we are going for the POCs in industry with oil and gas companies and industrial manufacturers. We have acquired the financing and partners through the different scale-ups and Polish grants, and we are now developing the new seed round in which we are seeking new partners. Thank you very much, and join us on making this Lightning sustainable.
Perfect, thank you. We can jump straight to the questions. Are there any from our judges? You have your microphones, I believe. Feel free to kick off.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah, I just a quick question, and it was excellent pitch. Thank you very much. What kind of constraints do you recognize for your business when you're like in the process developing it, and how would you potentially address those? If you, of course, recognize any.
Okay. In kind of constraints of our skills, we see that we don't have experience on expanding abroad, so we are like seeking the investment funds who can help us in this way. We have started that. We have been around the world. We know where we should attack and where we should go. So that's the main constraint for us now. On technological side, we are ready. We know how to meet the electronics shortages now. So basically, that's the biggest challenge for us now.
Feel free.
Can you please elaborate a little bit more about your competition and why you're better than them?
Okay, so basically, the most of the competition is delivering the controllers which are connecting to each other or connecting directly to cloud, and giving the platform which can export the data. On the other hand, if the city wants to optimize the city lighting, they need to hire the people who will be calculating that thing. And we want to make it on the go, so when you are running the platform, you just get the suggestion, this channel could be working better, or you could change the lighting to make it more secure, or make it use less energy.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. In your view, what are the key challenges in terms of scalability for your business model, and how do you plan to approach them?
Okay, so basically we have been thinking this really hard for the last year. We have found the business model where we work through partnerships with the LED lamp vendors. We are the hardware enable for them because they don't have the control systems. They want to compete with the big companies who have the LED lights plus control systems, and we are seeking them locally and entering the market locally. We have proven that in Poland that it can work with our partner from here, from Wrocław, the Luxon LED, or the partners from Sweden, for example, the Strill. So that's how we would like to expand globally.
Perfect. We've got still 2 minutes. Yeah, go ahead.
Very good pitch, definitely very good problem to solve. Could you elaborate a little bit more on your go-to-market, especially which sales channels you're going to use, because it's a B2C product, but you know there's a whole value chain in between of potential partners, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on essentially scaling this product into the market.
Okay, so basically we are not focusing on the B2C. We are only delivering to B2B to businesses and to governmental units. B2C is quite a little bit really another market, so we don't want to touch this. Basically, in case of go-to-market strategy, it's similar as here. We approach the LED lamp vendors locally, propose them the value proposition, and seek the markets where there are really big tenders incoming, or there are majority of many tenders. For example, we are now expanding to Arab Gulf, and we are seeking the best market. For example, the United Emirates should look good because they are wealthy, but no, the Saudi Arabia is building more roads. Every road means light, so we are going there where the roads are built.
30 seconds left. Any last questions? Quick ones? No? All right.
Maybe quickly, can you tell a little bit more about your team?
So basically, as a team, we have met on the studies. Based on that, we have run the hardware house for the last 6 years. So we have delivered the hardware for other people, and we are seeking some scalable possibility to develop, and that's why we are doing ChemTap.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, we are ready for the next startup of today. And the next one to pitch is Lightmirror and Dmitry.
Thank you. So our startup brings sunlight to hospital. Do you remember this flashy white light there is in every hospital room? I guess yes, because 68% of hospital rooms don't receive any sunlight through the year. And it leads to high energy cost for lighting, but also for the heating. But we have found cost-effective way to deliver sunlight to this room and cut the energy usage up to 30%. Our idea is to install a reflective panel on the roof of one building to redirect sunlight from the top of the building to the windows of the building in front. So we are developing specific reflective panel for this, and we also already have developed a software to calculate all the thermal gain and all the thermal calculation for the panel placement, and also how much hour of sunlight you will get in each room in your hospital. So our first client are care homes and hospitals, and our target market is the Northern European countries. So right now, our startup is in Lithuania, in Kaunas, but we began the startup in Estonia 3 years ago. And we moved in Lithuania for prototyping because it was easier. And in later stage, we will also target other clients such as architects and government, because we want to scale our product at the maximum to have a significant impact on the EU CO2 reduction. So for a hospital owner, the cost of the renovation is quite low in comparison to classical insulation techniques. And most importantly, the construction work takes 2 weeks. And we have very low impact on environment because we use very low amount of materials. And our final value, I want to ask you the question, how much would you pay for medications that makes you recover twice faster? So it's proven that people healing in like sunlight room, like in south facades, are healing better and faster. And also sunlight in building reduce stress and anxiety of everyone working in. So we will have also an impact on the length of stay of patient. So this is our team. Alexandra and Anna are both Ukrainian. They have worked at their post for more than 10 years. With this startup, we have been awarded the EU Industry Day Startup of the Year by jury and by audience this year. And we were last year in the biggest startup fair, so CES, COP26 Innovation Zone. And yeah, so that's all.
All right. Yeah, let's go straight to the question. Daniel, I can see you raising your hand.
Yes, thank you so much for your pitch. Could you dive a little bit deeper into the technology? Like what makes your product essentially special? What's your secret sauce?
Secret sauce is there is no technology. This is very simple panel. You put it on the facade, it redirects the light, and that's all. The technology is behind it, so we are an architecture company, and we are selling the plan for the placement and all the thermal calculation around it. So like the secret sauce of the startup is the know-how, how to place this panel for it to work and to have like good efficiency.
Got it. And then a follow-up question. Why do you tackle hospitals in the first place? Like what makes this customer group stand out for you?
So they are getting most of a better value from the sunlight in the building in general. But most important for us, it's the easiest way to enter the market because you have one owner, several buildings close to each other. In general, the urbanism law are very specific on this zone, on the hospital. So it's easier for us to get the building permit on the first project. And yeah, also because hospitals are very innovative place. They are used to install like deep tech innovation. And that's why we target this market first.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
And who are your main competitors?
Main competitors is doing nothing, continue to turn on the heater, turn on the light, and we will see after this winter how much like big hospital like this will pay, and we will have no competition left.
I'm just wondering, what is the market response for your service?
So for now, we have care home project in Vilnius, and we are prototyping with university in Tallinn and Kaunas. And for the market, it's quite huge here in Poland and in Lithuania because like whole hospital are very bad class energy. And there is also good investment from Europe to renovate this hospital.
Any other questions?
What is your pricing strategy and in general, the way you are planning to charge your clients?
So when we met hospital owner, we give him a feasibility study for free to see where we can install the panel on the building. Then he pay a prototype, a pilot, just one panel, we place it. And it's around like 5K, just for us to do the paper, first paper. And after we charge 500 euros per square meter of panel installation. And then there is little fee for maintenance. Twice a year we came for maintenance for like redirecting panel and cleaning it.
Yeah, we still have 1 minute.
Yes, question, why these type of solutions have not been employed at scale before? Before you, meaning?
Because calculation at the scale of a building is very hard. And even with software right now, like calculation on lighting is quite hard and it wasn't possible before. And also like it's very hard to enter a market, like the construction sector is like very hard to enter for a startup, and I think that's why for now there is no startup doing this.
Yeah, 30 seconds left. Any last questions?
One last one. In terms of the hospitals that you're targeting now, what kind of core element would you say they have in common?
Core element, like very big building, 20,000 square meter, like in band, like close to each other, like every hospital look the same. And also like very bad insulation, like building from the 60s, 70s. So yeah.
Maya, just one last question.
Yeah,
Does
ahead.
your solution have impact on the overall energy efficiency of the buildings?
Yeah, this is the goal, to lower like
How-
the energy consumption for heating mainly, and also for the lighting, because hospital light the room even during the day.
Yeah, but I was just wondering whether you have any data or whether you could show what is the like how much energy savings do you have based on this?
So for now, on the first two like study we made on the university, it was 13% in Tallinn and 26% in Kaunas.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. And now we will invite on stage Itamar Zabari from Astrotectonic. Hello, and the stage will be yours in a second. Let me just set the timer. All right, feel free to start.
Hi everyone, I'm Itamar Zabari from Astrotectonic. Imagine that an earthquake is hitting you. You feel energy in your legs. For a minute, you think that your legs is shaking, and before you know it, everything shakes around you. Now think or imagine that you are on a trip to Japan. You went to sleep at night and you woke up for violent shakes. You're unable to get up. The walls are caving, windows are crashing, and you're buried alive. Now imagine that you can know that it's coming. Imagine that you have notice of hours before it happens. How well can you be prepared? How many lives can be saved? Astrotectonic is an earthquake AI prediction system. We help people by giving them notice hours before the earthquake hits. Now, think about the difference between seconds, which what happens today, and hours of notice time. With seconds, you can barely jump to the closest table, under the closest table, and maybe it will help you. With hours, you can evacuate to safe zone, shut down trains, buses, heavy machinery, reduce injuries, and essentially save lives. Today, in seismic active zones, people are looking for any possible app that will give them any sort of notification that earthquakes are coming. But all of those apps gives barely 10 seconds, 12 at best, of notice time. Astrotectonic, with current technology, today's technologies, and new scientific finding, can actually drive it to hours and even days. But how did it start? My wife is an astrophysicist, and she shared with me this research. And I come from the startup scene. I've been in the startups world for many years, and I saw the huge impact that we can have on people's lives. And together with a research colleague, we started a venture, a family venture. Dr. Noemi Zabari, she's in charge of the analysis of the system from every aspect and day-to-day operations. I am in charge of business and R&D, and Dr. Kevin Almeida is in charge of the cosmic rays research. Between us and the team, we've got pretty much everything we need to complete the system. We've got business, research, software, hardware, legal, and urban planning. And our go-to-market strategy is quite simple. On the short term, we're going to approach California, mid-term, Italy and Israel, as well as Mexico. And long term, we have 17 countries for the GEM list. And we're going to start with insurance companies heavy industry, mining, and then smart cities. Our business model is kind of freemium. You can download the app. You'll get 10 minutes of notice time ahead of time, so you can even finish your coffee and exit the building. And on the premium, you can get hours of notice time, and we are planning to give even days to the right companies. Market opportunity, so if we'll take California, for example, out of 24 million people, 21 million are, have health insurance, and if we will take 5% penetration rate, we get to 126 million annual revenue a year. In terms of timeline, in the past 2 years, we were heavily invested in research. Recently, we have received a grant for $250,000 US dollars to build the beta system as well as all the hardware that is required. By the end of this year, we're looking to have a trained neural network. By mid-2023, we're going to have an official launch in California, and then later on, we're going to extend accordingly. So, we're looking for $750,000 to accelerate our neural network development, our user acquisition, and to hire across tech, marketing, and sales. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And now we will move on to the questions. We have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Who'd like to start?
Thank you for a pitch. Question, do you have any feedback from your potential clients?
Yes, we have approached insurance accelerators in order to inquire about potential collaborations. From their perspective, it's kind of a win-win situation. That's our initial target clients. If we'll take, for example, California, there are about $340 billion a year of damages from earthquakes. Out of that, about $120 billion are being paid by insurance companies. And so by providing them this information, they can save a lot of money, both on the heavy machinery, but more importantly on life, and by doing so to reduce their yearly expenses or yearly returns. I hope it helps.
Any other questions from our judges? Yeah,
yes.
Go ahead.
Have you identified other startups with higher stage of development operating in this space?
No. There is the closest startup I would say is working only on seismic channels, but seismic channels are very, very limited, and therefore they're unreally able to predict earthquakes. They are working on detection versus prediction.
Yep, go ahead.
So first I have to say, really good storytelling. I thought the pitch was very compelling. Regarding your product, where do you get the data from? Because I definitely think there's a need, and we've seen startups go exactly in this direction where you have large corporates that essentially are trying to protect their assets from climate change implications, right? And earthquakes are one of those. So those companies work with a lot of third-party data and then do their own magic to essentially help those companies to derive recommendations. Maybe you could dig a little bit deeper into where this data is coming from, what you're doing with it, and how you derive those recommendations.
So as our startup is kind of structured in half research, half the rest business and tech, we have research-oriented partners, and they are allowing us to use their data. So we are collecting data from detectors and essentially partners all around the world. Moreover, we are now developing our own detectors, and this is why we received the grant, to receive the most accurate data and to be able to combine it, both cosmic rays and seismic activities, so we can better train our neural network. And so the combination of this and that will give us the best data sets possible for earthquake prediction.
All right, thank you. We ran out of time. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And now I would like to welcome on stage our next startup of this climate tech pitching track. And it is going to be Adam Kondziela from NanoC. Please join me on stage.
Thank you, Rosie.
You're welcome. And now I will start the clock. You've got 3 minutes for your pitch.
Hi, I'm Adam from NanoSci. We do nanotechnology. The problem we have to face as a civilization is respiratory diseases that are caused by pollution in the air and different diseases that we transmit one to another. The recent one got attention was COVID-19. Only in Poland, the data shows that employees have take 30 million of sick days annually because of respiratory diseases. That accounts 2 days of sick leave per person, both caused by their own sickness or their kids. The solution is, sorry for the complicated slide, but the solution is air purifiers. And 2 years ago, during the pandemic, there was a research done by scientists at the University of Goethe in Frankfurt. And they made assessment where they placed air purifiers at schools. And it turned out that with just 4 standard HEPA air purifiers coming from Philips, you can achieve decrease in the infection rates between students by 90%. So this is the technology that we need to use to protect ourselves, change how we live, or rather stay out as it was. The problem is the technology today used for air filtration is not feasible. So we developed this nanomaterial, which use photocatalytic process. It's very hard to do it with, I need a third hand. So the air flows here, dirty air here, clean air here. We also use LEDs to deliver the energy to the material, which is semiconductor. So it have a lot of those green faces, which means very good. It disinfects the air, it removes the gaseous pollutants. It's 7 times more energy efficient than, for example, UVC. And it's able to remove bad smell from air. And the biggest advantage, you don't have to change the filter. Like with HEPA filters, you have to do it every 7 months. We know it from our homes. With this technology, the lifetime is unlimited. Our business model consists, of course, that we would like to sell the license for the patents we hold. But it's not so easy to approach those big corporate companies. We first have to prove ourselves. To do that, we will make several devices and put them on the market. And also offer to different industries the only material or material with LEDs as a whole component to make it very easy to implement in different devices. For example, lighting fixtures. We see those lighting fixtures all over us. All of them can be air filtration devices, which will distribute the airflow in the room evenly. Those are the devices we are developing. They are going to be ready before the end of this year. Actually, the one for Solaris was already made. We also made a pilot project with Solaris. It was when the COVID was developing, the pandemic was developing. We did a device to filter out pollution for the compartment, the driver's compartment, but we really want to focus on preventing respiratory diseases. And this is our team. The technical genius behind it is a lady, Adriana. She's an academic professor. She looks young, but she has 20 years of experience in only this technology. And this technology was patented and it's closed. It's ready to be delivered. And Adriana and her team on the university is working also on other uses of photocatalysis. For example, tomorrow we will run the first experiment in how to use photocatalysis in hydrogen generation. We also have 5 PhD students working in the lab on developing of the material. And Pavel is our technologist, so in chemistry you need that guy who knows how to make the stuff, like a brewer. and Bartov application engine, because we also need to make application in existing devices or new ones. And me, CEO, you know, I do everything. Thank you.
Thank you. We are already in the Q&A, and we still have 2 minutes. So, who'd like to start? Jose?
Hi. Have you identified any type of companies that you said will be using your technology?
We approached 3 different industries. First was automotive, because when the pandemic hit, there was a big problem with mass transplantation, because people were spreading the disease in it. So buses, trains started to install different devices to disinfect the air. But we don't know if that business will still exist there. Actually, fighting the pollution inside of those means of transportation is feasible. The second industry is, of course, ventilation. So all those HVAC companies making ventilation for offices and factories and schools. But this industry is not so easy to approach, because they are not really interested in innovation. The industry which I find the most interesting, and we have a partner in this industry too, it's a mid-sized company from Poland, a lighting company. Lighting industry is one of the biggest in Poland, actually. They will present their first device using their first fixture, lighting fixture, using our technology in September in Germany on the Light Plus Building Fair.
30 seconds left. Any last questions?
Just very quickly, I presume your product is ready. What is your go-to-market strategy when you're ready to sell?
So as I said, we are at the seed stage. We had 200,000 euro investment, made a pilot before with some investment too. But the go-to-market strategy is something we have to test. I showed that we have 4 different approaches, and we're going to test all of them at once and find that one that works best. Obviously, licensing out the technology and moving forward to developing another technology would be the dream of every startup, deep tech startup, yeah? But that's not that easy. So we will do it by components and products.
Super. We have no time for further questions, so big round of applause for Adam, and let's welcome our next startup. And it is going to be AgroLink and Alexandr.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex from Ukraine, and today I would like to represent our product AgroLink. It's an aligned platform for farmers and suppliers. Before I start, I'd like to say a big thanks to Poland and the whole board to supporting us today in these tough times. So basically, in agricultural market, we have 2 sides. We have suppliers and we have farmers. Farmers has a problem to find the necessary product, to calculate the budget, and to analyze the necessity of this product. While the supplier has a lack of channels to promote and sell this product, lack of people to cover the whole categories, and lack of sources of analytics and data. This is why we made a solution which unites farmers and suppliers in one place. Basically, as we know, Ukraine is a breadbasket of Europe, and this is why our target audience is 53% of the market. In numbers, it's approximately more than 20 million hectares of the land. This is our product. Actually, from the one side of view, it looks very simple, but it's all hidden in the unique functionality that we made. First of all, we digitalized all categories of products. We've made the smartest search, where the farmer can search products by active substance, by the diseases, by the name of insects and any kind of parameters. We made a smart budget calculator, which is made additionally for their technological operations, and they can buy everything, of course, online from the manufacturers directly. Our business model was set for farmers and suppliers separately, but for now, for Ukraine, the business model is absolutely free for everyone. we have established to work with more than 30 different suppliers of crop protectors, of fertilizers, seeds, and other kind of services, from biggest companies to the smallest companies, and make the turnover of the platform approximately at 8.5 million Ukrainian hryvnias per year. Right now, the traction is a little bit changed because we have to work more on the European market right now. But still, we're seeking to be a top 5 in Google search on December 2023 and became the leading platform in July 2024. The competitors are simple. There are a lot of different online stores to buy the crop protectors. There are a lot of retail businesses like Prom and Rosetka, but we would like to make a specified solution for agriculture. The opportunities are wide awake, but still we need to concentrate. For this concentration, we need more knowledge. Our team unites the agricultural knowledge, the IT, marketing, and supply chain in one place. The reason why we participate here is that we want to become a part of European accelerator, especially in agricultural, so we could understand how to learn how to implement the product to European and Latin America market, and then to establish this experience in Ukrainian market. Thanks.
Thank you. Now let's move on to the questions. Who would like to start? Go ahead, Daniel.
Thank you so much for the pitch. Your team seems very well assembled from the founding side, but how does your hiring plan look like? Like, you know, where do you double down? Is it product? Is it sales?
Well, if you say about Ukraine, we've actually, I can't say we doubled up. I say we more than doubled up in Ukraine because right now we have 10 people working. We started from 2 or 3. Right now we have 10 people working. But still, the problem is that we mostly, our goal was to work as a marketing platform for the suppliers on the first stage. So this is why we still settle up the team. We still keep it. We don't want to hire more people in right now because we have to move to European market and to gather experience of people in there because we need some knowledge of that market.
So your focus is on doubling down on sales. Your product is pretty much in good shape, and now you're like trying to get it out into as many countries as possible.
Yes, sure. First of all, we would like to understand each market that we want to enter. The Poland market, the German market, French market, they all have its own, how to say, details. They all have its key players. And for now, we're settling the conversation with big companies. For example, as Adama. Adama is one of the biggest crop protection companies in the world. We are working with them in Ukraine, and for now we're establishing the partnership in Poland. And step by step, we will try to do it in Europe.
2 minutes left. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Regarding the knowledge access about the market, to what extent will you balance, let's say, your strategy on hiring as with collaborating with external partners to obtain that knowledge?
Do you mean how would it help us to hire the people? Is it right?
No, meaning that when you are like evaluating a market or understanding it, to what extent do you rely on your people compared to strategic partnerships with someone else?
Due to the fact that we work with, in Ukraine, we work with not only Ukrainian companies, but with international companies. It helps us to understand how their mindset and how they work. This is why the key team is, of course, is going to be Ukrainian team as they understand the process in depth. But there might be some advisors, some experts in agronomy, in technological part, which we can hire in Europe or in maybe in Latin America, because the Latin American market is a little bit similar to Ukrainian market.
1 minute to go. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick question about the market response and actually market perception on the product. Whether you see that there is like a big chance for a bigger profitability of your service, and whether you have experience only on the Ukraine market or you have some like tested it on different markets too, or it's like still in the process.
Actually, our goal was to work first 2 or 3 years in Ukrainian market to establish it, because you see the amount of land, the amount of companies that work in Ukraine, and how important the country is by the harvesting, by the oil, grains, and other types. But for now, we have to move on rapidly to the European market. What I can say right now, that we have to, first of all, we have to make a deep analysis of each market and choose the 1 or 2 which we'll go in. I think the Poland will be one of them, and the second one I think we have to choose. And later it will be easier to say what we can do there, because, for example, in Poland, as I analyzed, there are more companies which work with, I mean, you know, the meat production, milk production, while in Ukraine there is less companies which do it. This is why we have to change a little bit the categories and the other stuff.
I see. So we will be adjusting the product to the specificity of the market.
Yes, absolutely right.
Thank you.
The one moment I would like to add to this question, that the functional that we made can be, it's agile. So we can move on from one category to another category, and it's easier for us to gather new categories and new markets.
Thank you. Big round of applause for Alexander.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. And now we will actually try to dial in our first online startup pitching in this conference. So I'm looking forward to see if we can connect with Evangelos.
I hope so.
We can see you, we can hear you. Let us see your slides as well. We'd like to see your presentation. Perfect, we can see it. I'm starting the clock. Feel free to start.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Evangelos Mitsakis, and I'm the CEO of Deep Traffic. The team of Deep Traffic, being its greatest asset, is comprised of its 8 co-founders, including myself, and I believe we collectively cover all the necessary roles and skills, both technical as well as business. The problem that we try to solve is quite straightforward. It's traffic congestion, road safety, and environmental pollution. These are currently trying to be solved by traffic management centers in cities or in highways, which are, however, human-intensive. They follow manual procedures, they require significant equipment investments, and they also fail to sufficiently exploit real-time data. In parallel, we can observe some significant trends, such as the wave of connected and automated vehicles that enter the market, and the fact that smart mobility systems need to contribute to climate and sustainability-related targets and regulations worldwide. So the value proposition of Deep Traffic is the dynamic traffic management for connected vehicles, tackling traffic congestion, road safety, and pollution in cities and in highways. To do so, we offer our product, Deep Traffic 101. It's a software-based technology comprised of a scenario manager, which does the actual traffic management part in a fully automated way, a dashboard component for real-time visualization of KPIs, a CATS message broker for the communication between the TMC and the connected and automated vehicles, and also an application for the drivers to receive our services. The product is already fully developed and tested with proven benefits in major key performance indicators. What is very important is that we're fully compliant with all the main industrial standards in our domain. We have both completed as well as ongoing pilots in Greek cities and in Greek highways, as well as in Wrocław. And we also have our first commercial contract with an urban traffic management center in Greece. And we are also in extensive contacts with other cities in Europe and outside of Europe. And also we participate in several business development programs like the ones you see here. Our revenue model is fourfold. We provide our technology as a software license or a software as a service. And what is mostly interesting is the third one. We also provide traffic management as a service, plus any supporting activities that a customer might need. We believe that we're in a very good position against the competition because we're cost efficient. We provide an end-to-end solution. We can very quickly adapt to customer needs. We have extensive domain knowledge, and we also can very quickly follow all the latest developments concerning innovation. Finally, concerning our 5-year projections, our goal is to have 60 customers in 4 years from now, with sales in the order of 11.4 million euros and an EBITDA of over 25% from year 4 onwards. I hope I was in time. Thank you very much.
We are hearing round of applause here in Wrocław. All right, let's move on to the questions. Are there any from our judges? Would like to start? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I'm curious about the data that you operate to inform your system, where it comes from, and what prevents others to obtain the same quality of data.
We have two sources of data. The first one, but it's not the one that we actually rely upon technical, is the data from our own users. So data from drivers who use our application. The most important one is a commercial agreement with a company that sells real-time floating car data globally. So we are not bound geographically or technologically to anything. We get data from approximately 20% of all circulating vehicles worldwide, which is more than sufficient to get real-time insights into traffic conditions anywhere.
Any other questions?
Imagine if you get funded, how will you spend the money?
Marketing, sales are number one, and some further extensions at technical level is the second cost category. The majority is for personnel costs. I mean, what we need right now is to be able to finance personnel costs to intensify internationalization. We're doing quite well in Greece. We have also established a parent company 2 months ago in Wrocław because of a business opportunity with the city of Wrocław that I sort of referred to before in the pilots of ours. But we want to grow internationally, and there we need marketing and sales. This is number one for us right now.
We still have 1 minute and 30 seconds. Go ahead, Maciej.
Seems like a lot of data you are planning to use comes from individual users. So how are you planning to acquire that many app users so that you could get enough data? And secondly, why do you believe your solution in terms of the value proposition for mobile users is better than, let's say, totally free of charge data like Google Maps?
The drivers do not pay anything to us. They are not our customers. They are end users of our application. Our customers are cities or highways who operate traffic management centers. These are the guys who are paying us. Our application is also free. We are, however, I think quite realistic. We will not ever be able to compete with Waze or Google, and we do not intend to do so. Therefore, we also have APIs to such third-party navigation providers, like the ones you mentioned, in order to get the added value information and insights that we have from the traffic management centers and which they do not. We do not necessarily need an endless amount of own users of our application to operate our platform. As I explained, the data sources that are absolutely necessary for us are coming from vehicles, but they do not need to be connected to us. We get them through third-party real-time data providers.
Thank you, Evangelos. We don't have time for any more questions. Let's let Evangelos hear. Round of applause here from Wrocław to you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. And now we will have another startup joining in person, and I would like to welcome Meliora. Please join me. Yep, no problem. Good luck. And I am starting the clock to 3 minutes. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. Sorry. Yeah, my name is Mika. I'm co-founder at Meliora. What is Meliora, basically? Let's start with a big problem, climate change. It's happening. We know it. We are always talking about that already for many years. We don't really do a lot about that. Companies and enterprise-level businesses, they usually do tackle the climate change problem in two ways. So basically, the first way is they're improving the processes, and the second way is they are investing in companies that help them reduce their emissions. And the second way is actually the carbon offsetting. So you basically give money to someone or to some company to reduce your emissions elsewhere. And here's where the problem actually starts. So the whole carbon offset market is more than, here we go. It's more than $800 billion in 2021. It's almost $1 trillion. And keep in mind that these carbon credits are not really traceable. They can be sold upfront for 50 to 100 years. They can be sold from the past. You can buy actually bundles from 5-year vintages, which is a fancy name for very old and unusable carbon credits. And that's the $1 billion industry, time machine for climate change, right? We don't like that at Meliora at all. I mean, we were very angry when we learned that. So what we want to create is we want to create a solution that actually tackles the main problem for companies. And main problem for companies is unreliable credits, untraceable, something from the future, something from the past. You don't really understand what the projects are doing. A lot of fishy projects as well. And industry is not also digitized and no unified marketplace. You see a lot of, blockchain projects or crypto projects, but what they're doing, they're bundling vintages and they do not solve the actual problem. They're just creating a fancy infrastructure on top of that. What we are creating is, we call it a unified carbon offset marketplace, but here is more to that. So we have several big competitive advantages. We're fully transparent. Companies that are coming to us directly communicating with the project owners, buying directly all the carbon credits they want. Second thing is there is a huge supply shortage, right? So we have problems with natural resources that sold many, many years up front, and we are tackling the problem by working with negative emission projects, which are carbon capture, biochar, and many others. And they actually grow exponentially and really tackle the whole climate change issue. Yeah, we cover in both voluntarily and compliance markets. We started with voluntarily market, but we are going into compliance. We started in February. This is our traction. So we have a lot of already requests. A lot of projects are going into the verification phase, and what you see here, that's what's already passed the verification and available on the platform. And the business model is the transaction fee. This is the main business model right now. In the future, we also build the Meliora API, as we call, when, for example, direct-to-consumer companies or e-commerce companies can implement carbon offsets on the checkout page, so their customers can actually do that as well. Sorry, yeah. Competitive side of the business. A lot of companies just stuck in the 80s, like brokers. Very long processes for onboarding, specifically for project owners. We actually recently onboarded biggest climate forest in Norway, and they tried to go with one of the brokers, waited for 12 months, and decided to go with us. Carbon accounting platforms like Solvera, they do mostly data analytics. They don't really sell anything, so they're selling the access to the data, but not access to the actual project. Blockchain projects already described like a huge mess, just building fancy financial infrastructure on top of unreliable carbon credits. And here we go, like Meliora, right? So we call ourselves like a fourth wave of carbon credit market, where we eliminate the middleman, where companies can buy everything directly, and build a portfolio of the projects they're really interested in. Founding team, 4 founders. That's me. I call myself serial entrepreneur, not cereal that you eat with milk. Spent a lot of time in e-commerce, worked with Nike, Puma, Adidas, Metallica Rock Band, in data analytics. Tatiana, deep tech expert. Yana, more into operations and working with enterprise customers like Coca-Cola and Nestle. UC, marketing genius, 15 years in marketing, worked with Skeleton Technologies, helped them raise a shitload of money. And we also want to be sustainable, right? So how are we going to do that? First of all, we already like tackling the whole climate change problem by helping negative emission companies get into the game, get funding from carbon credit selling, and do their technologies on scale. We also make a net zero pledge, and we also preserve nature by onboarding reliable natural resources projects. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Yeah. Actually, we are already in the Q&A and we have only 1 minute and 30 seconds. Who'd like to start?
Maybe one question from my side. I would like to understand more what you guys are actually trying to do on the sustainability end, because if I understood correctly, with your marketplace, you just help companies to purchase carbon offset credit faster, so they can kind of pollute somewhere else, right? So what are you guys actually doing to really contribute to sustainability?
It's not like they can buy and pollute somewhere else. It's not working this way anymore, because companies that are coming to us, they actually improving the processes, reducing their emissions like Scope 1, Scope 2, Scope 3 they have, and they offsetting just the rest. And what we are doing, we are basically giving access to new types of projects, like this negative emission projects. Because, for example, if you are created a new microorganism, you genetically created a microorganism that reduces, not reduces, but recycles plastic in a sustainable way, you can basically, in theory and legally, can sell carbon avoidance credits, or some companies call it plastic credits. But when you go to big companies and say like, hey guys, can you certify me so I can sell the carbon credits? I'm recycling plastic in a good way. They say, wait a second, we work with natural resources. We don't know what you're talking about. We don't work with these types of technologies. And there are thousands and thousands of companies who are underdeveloped, who have real tackle to the climate change problems. And they can do that on scale with enough funding. And basically selling credits for them is a very good chance to basically create additional revenue stream so they can improve their technology and, tackle the whole problem.
Thank you. We ran out of time, but let's give a big round of applause to Mika. And here's your phone. Yep, thank you so much. And now we are going to dial in our next startup that is going to be joining online. So let us see if we can make this connection. And it's going to be Sarunas from the startup called Inion. Let's try. Okay, perfect.
Hello,
can you hear us?
Me?
Yes, we can hear you, we can see you. We're just waiting for your presentation.
And is it on screen?
Yes, it is on the screen. I am starting the clock to 3 minutes. Feel free to start.
Okay, so hello, I am CEO of Inion Software, and I will start my presentation by asking you a question. So, can your house earn money for you? Well, basically, if you will add some solar installation to it, it can start generating electricity. Well, maybe you cannot sell it, but still it will greatly reduce your electricity bill. But you know that during the day, when there is a generation, you are at work. So what can you do? How can you use that electricity generation during the day when you need it in the evening hours and early morning hours? So you can add battery. But what if you have some cloudy days? So in these cloudy days, you have no sun production, but maybe you can charge your battery from some cheaper market prices. So if you add the market prices, you can use the low tariff to charge your battery and use it when you need it. You might want to add to this equation electrical vehicle, which is a big battery or the means of transportation. So you might want to drive cheaper electricity as well, or greener electricity as well. You might want to add as well also like some heat pump or some air conditioner to use the solar generated electricity or cheaper one. And all of this to work, you will need certain energy management system. So that's one of the things we do in Inyon Software. So we are creating energy management systems for homes. And to go further, I would like to say that many new interesting things are happening in the grid right now. So basically, smart grid is happening. The thing which we were speaking 20 years ago started to happening now. And many new business models are appearing, which are still new and still they need some technical means to enable them. So one of that business models, as I mentioned, was energy management system for your house. It can be also kind of virtual utilities, which combine thousands of small installations, and you can sell that electricity to hundreds of factories. Load balancing service, this balancing service. So many new business models are appearing now on the smart grid, and there is still the lack of solutions. And we call that background green infra. So there will be necessary to use certain infrastructure to enable those business models. We call it green infra, and the concept of that infrastructure is to connect green energy producers with green energy users in real time, which is very important in real time to have this information. And what we have. So what we have now, so we have business in the left side of this screen. So basically we are connecting, and we have our customers working with solar installations, monitoring, maintaining them, and now we are developing battery control. So basically we have already customers who are committed, and now we need to deliver some solutions for in October for battery management, and we have already sold many installations, and we need to also deliver them our logger to manage those installations. So yeah, everything is ready to support those new business models in energy. And message to investors, just to keep it short, we are raising next round. Let's have a talk, and I guess now it's time for your questions.
Give a round of applause to our pitching startup. Thank you so much. And now let's start the questions. Who would like to begin? Yeah, go ahead, Maciej.
I missed the information regarding your team. So can you please describe your competences and who's in the team?
Yeah. So in our team, we have 14 people working. So 10 people are developers and CEO, of course, in that team. We are 4 PhDs in our small development team. And yeah, so we know quite many things about energy and about, let's say, IoT. We are an IoT company, so about all data, about computing stuff. So yeah, that's our team. And about our experiences, so myself, I was working in sales and sales management in Schneider Electric Corporation for 10 years. And yeah, now I'm here running my startup. And our co-founders are also quite experienced either in technical part or in sales and sales management as well.
All right. Yeah.
2 questions. First of all, your competition, if you have one, then why are you unique? And the second question, you mentioned you're looking for the round. So if you got one, what will be spending on? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have several products which we are running, so different competition in those different fields. So let's say our core product, so it's a solar monitoring logger system, the solar monitoring platform. So our, let's say, our competition, so we are focusing mainly to the big utility scale power plants. So basically their loggers, their system is too expensive to use it at residential or smaller installations. And we have developed quite low-cost logger, which all the functionality is removed, only the crucial and necessary left. and that's why it's possible to use also in smaller installations. And our operation and maintenance companies, who are our partners, they can use also our monitoring system for very smaller projects, not only for the big projects. So that's I would say the biggest our, let's say, plus against our competitors. And what was the next question? Sorry.
What we'll be spending on?
Yeah, so spending. So basically, we want to, now we are in several European countries, so selling our customers, and we are present in Spain and Lithuania. Lithuania is our home country, and in Spain we have one salesperson working, and we want to expand to several more countries in Europe. So gradually, of course, but we need to expand to like UK, to Germany, and to some other countries, to Poland as well. And another thing is our development. We have a few European grant projects running, so but still we need to cover some additional parts of that, because as I told, there are many business models which are appearing, and we want to be ready and to want to jump on this wave. Like now battery manufacturers going crazy, let's say, about energy management systems, because they have batteries and they have a little bit small lack of how to sell that. They cannot sell because they cannot control them, and the battery itself, it's not very useful product if you cannot manage it. So we need to be, let's say, on track with a battery management and some other ideas which we have in our development plan.
Thank you.
20 seconds to go. Maybe quick comments, questions. Still have that time. All right.
How does your collaboration with the energy providers look like? Because in the end, you're using, or you're depending on using their grid, right?
So energy providers itself, that's the question, from what side do we look at them? Because if you have the grid operators, so they don't care much about the electricity production. They care only about how electricity is generated. So I'm not really getting into the question. So what was really the question?
I mean, if you're trying to move energy between corporates and a household, or a household and another household,
yeah,
the grid, right? You need the energy grid that is existing. So I imagine you have some form of collaboration, partnership with the electricity provider that essentially is in the city, in the town.
Yes and no. There exist two ways. So basically, the distribution system operators, they only check that you produce in the same time as you consume, and they check electricity counters. And our system helps the ones who in real time which need to control that. So basically, to stay in balance for what we produce and what we consume. So well, it's not exactly why we need to cooperate with towns. We more cooperate with like virtual utility providers. We have some concept and some working projects with virtual utilities, and they need only real-time information not to go disbalance from what we promised to the grid.
Thank you, Sarunas. All right, big round of applause for Sarunas joining us online.
Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect. And now we are moving on to our next in-person pitch. And I would like to invite on stage Julia Bialecka. Or Julia, right? Both works. So this is for you and this is for you. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia. I'm CEO and co-founder of SLab. Have you ever thought that durability of packaging is hundreds of years, when the products in it can be in use just for a few minutes? For example, styrofoam. Every single unit that was ever produced out of styrofoam still remains somewhere on the landfills. And even worse, it pollutes air, soil, and oceans. Our solution is a truly green packaging that consists of only two plant-based components, which are hemp and mycelium. Mycelium is a mushroom root, and once we mix it with hemp, it starts to bind or to glue everything together. And we get a very strong and reliable material that can replace styrofoam. Our packaging is 100% biodegradable. After the usage, it can be thrown with the rest of the garbage, and it will fully decompose in just 30 days. Just imagine packaging that will never end up on the landfills. And on top of that, our packaging is thermally insulating and it repels water. There are other packaging alternatives, but there are two main issues with them. First, they are not as biodegradable as we would like to. And second, they still cannot be produced and distributed in the industrial scale. But guess what? We have unlocked scalability with the simple solutions, where we have many factories that are placed into the 40-foot containers. Container is set up at the customer premises, and that's where packaging is produced. And this way, we make sure that sustainable packaging is available everywhere. Just the styrofoam packaging market is $13 billion. But our technology allows us to replace other materials. So that means that our potential market could actually be $1 trillion per year. We already have 10 recurring clients that bring us up to $3,000 of MRR, and we are working on the big pilot projects with such companies as Newpost, the biggest Ukrainian delivery service, L'Oreal, and the Medic8 cosmetic brands. We have some investors on board, and right now we are building a pilot production line that will serve two purposes. One, to produce packaging. Second, to further scale to the 40-foot containers. And we are starting a pre-seed round for that, and you still can join it. Our core team consists of 4 people. Eugene and me are 2 co-founders, and we are happily married for 10 years. And then we hired Vasil, who has already done industrialization of the manufacturing processes, and Dasha, who has converted the famous fashion brand to the sustainable packaging in just 6 months. But the main thing that we are on a mission here to make sure that a good packaging is produced and distributed to every location in the world. Thank you very much. I'm Julia from SLab.
Now let's move on to the questions. Yes, feel free, Evelina.
Hello, and thank you for a really exciting speech. I'm just wondering whether there are any limitation when it comes to the product that can be packaged in this in your product actually.
You mean like certification?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking like whether you can use this package for any other type of product that you put inside and that will not affect the product itself.
I see. Yeah, like it will not affect the product that is inside because it's just it's exactly like a styrofoam. But for example, styrofoam you can still break it and it will be placed into the pieces. In our case, it will not happen like that. It's not that easy to break it because it's 3 times stronger than the styrofoam. So it's not that easy to break it, and like it's natural. So you know it's something that we are used to, like mushrooms. So mycelium is the mushrooms, or hemp, that's a plant. So there is nothing that will affect the product because it's coming from the nature.
Thank you.
Yep, we still have 3 minutes. Go ahead, Koza.
Hi, great presentation. Just wanted to know about the amount of investment that you have received. Where are you currently allocating it?
So we have investment, like acceleration investment from B2B accelerator Startup Wise Guys, one of the biggest accelerators in Europe. And it's 80,000 euros that we received so far. Right now we are placed in Spain. We had to relocate our business, our team to Spain. So that's why right now we are there and setting up our facility production there. Well, looking into the clients in Europe, of course, we are aiming Spain as a market, we are aiming Nordics market, and with the help of my own network and the help of our accelerator network.
Yeah, go ahead.
Great pitch. 10K MRR, very impressive. However, I imagine that you're seeing, you know, when you pitch to companies, a couple of providers that are offering sustainable packaging, maybe using different materials. How do you differentiate yourself, or what makes your product better than the others?
Unfortunately, there is still no 100% biodegradable packaging. But that's only us. Because in reality, usually it's 30, 40, maximum 50% of the components are natural. So that means that that material still cannot biodegrade to 100%. That's our main, I would say, differentiator. Then we can make our packaging any size, any shape, any form. That's also what is beneficial for our customers because they can fit their product exactly into our packaging. And of course, that we know how to produce it in the industrial scale because there are lots of alternative packaging, but they are more of a research and development or laboratories where we want to produce and deliver packaging to every location in the world. So we can do that, in a real industrial scale. Thank you.
Great. 1 minute to go. Yep, go ahead.
Two questions as well. So first of all, how you'll be sourcing your mushroom roots and hemp? I mean, is still not the bottleneck because you mentioned you can scale globally, but will this not be the problem? And the second, what is the cost of the final packaging? How much more expensive is comparing to the standard ones?
Great questions, and I have a very exciting answer to that. First, we use hemp stem that basically remains on the fields after the harvest. So no one uses stem. So we take waste and make it into the meaningful product. So in this way, we are not competing with anyone for the hemp stem, basically, and we can use other agricultural waste, like corn stem or wheat stem or anything else. And in terms of the, for the mushrooms, for the mushroom root, we actually cultivate it in our own laboratory, and we need such small pieces of it that it doesn't really matter, or we don't really need to source it from somewhere, and it's not a bottleneck at all, because it's a very small amount of the mushroom. It's growing so rapidly, so that really we don't need to even think about that. And about the pricing, we are at the same price as the styrofoam. Thank you.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Thank you very much.
For more questions, but big round of applause to Julia. And now let's move on and let's dial in our next online startup, and this will be the final startup of today. MediPrintic and Andrzej Zakręcki. We're trying to put you on a big screen here in Wrocław. All right, we can see you. Can you say something?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We only need to see your screen with your presentation. We can see it now. I'm starting the clock to 3 minutes. Good luck.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrzej Zakręcki, and I would like to show the new method for the forearm injuries treatment. 19th century, this is the time that the first telephone, paraffin lamp, and camera was invented, as well as this is a time when the first plastic gypsum was made. In 21st century, the camera, paraffin lamp are replaced in the one device, in the smartphone. And the plastic gypsum is still with us in the same form. It's the high time to change it. When I start my presentation, we have 3 people, they are our customers right now. And the problem in the European Union is 3 million people per year that are affected for the forearm injuries. The problem is mostly focused on the people over 60 years old due to the problems with the osteoporotics or due to the problems with their bones, as well as the problems are connected with the children between 10, 40 years old, and they are less strong bones than their parents 20 years ago, as well as we have a problem that we have lack of the doctors in our healthcare system. What is more, the problem with in the hospital world, when we want to cure the patient with the forearm injuries, are connected with the long time of diagnosing, long time of the reset bones, the problems with the plaster gypsum that we have a problem that is no waterproofness, as well as we have a problem that we have a secondary displacement of the forearm because the volume between the plaster gypsum and the hand are changing during the recovery time. The pros of the systems are connected with that every doctor knows the technique how to put the plastic gypsum for the patient hand. What we do, we invent the medical set that we help the doctors to improve the forearm treatment process. We have a medical setup. This is a device which can, we precise reset bones in the proper position. The second solution is the 3D scanner connected with the medical setup that we select the proper orthosis. And the final solution for our set is the orthosis that we have a very lightweight structure. We have a system of regulation of the orthosis, and as well as we have some modules that we can build the orthosis like the Lego that we can and we can use it in depends of the trauma. And this is our solution. This is our orthosis. We registered that in this month as a medical device, as well as we have a patent application for that case and the construction. And compare the system, the average time in the emergency department is about 2 hours. We need to change the place in the hospital, and our idea is to focus on the one place and do the whole procedure less than 20 minutes. Our goal is to use the whole system by one people from the medical staff, as well as reduce the numbers of surgery procedures, as well as to shorten the time of the recovery for the patient to come back to work faster. And when we compare with our competitors, our solution can reduce the workload in the hospital ward, and we also give the immediately patient supply. And the market size is estimated for 2 billion euros in the next 5 years. Our business model focuses on the deliver the whole set for the public and private orthopedic clinics, as well as we can also deliver the orthoses in the traditional way to the orthopedic shops. Our team consists of me. I am CEO of Medioprinting and the project manager. Marcin is the guy who is responsible from the medical side of the project. Kamil is responsible for the medical regulation, as well as we have another 8 people. They are working in the design department. They are responsible for the regulation, law, finance issue. For our project, we are looking for the 1 million euros for the sales development and the product development. Right now, we have few agreements for the borrowing our orthoses. They are in the first early adopters, as well as in the few days we make the first agreement for delivering our orthoses. So it's a high time to change the traditional plaster gypsum for the solution. It's worth for the 21st century. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrzej. You can hear the applause straight from Wrocław. All right, let's move on to the questions. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. Who'd like to start from our judges? Go ahead, Daniel.
Thank you so much for the pitch. Can you share maybe the personal story, like, what makes you guys passionate to solve this problem? And also, why is your team the best to solve this problem?
Okay, so I do this project from my personal experience that I had a bad plaster gypsum. So my fingers are broken and I have a problem to put in the proper way. So this is the reason that why I do this project, as well as my colleague work in the orthopedic clinic. So this is the typical problems for his side and in the many departments in Poland, as well as we have a scientific board that they support they are ahead of medical clinics, and so are the experts in orthopedic area. So they support us in this case, and they are our advisors for that project and support us to launch our product on the market.
Andrzej, we would have time for one tiny question if there is one, but if not, then thanks a lot. Thank you, Andrzej, for your pitch.
Thank you.
Perfect. Yes, we could hear you. Thank you so much. Thank you for dialing in. All right, that was the final startup of the Climate Tech track, sponsored by PwC. So big thank you for having us here today. And there will be more of the Great Pitch Contest. Tomorrow from 10 to 1, we'll have startups pitching here again from 5 to 6 as well. But just from a personal note, I would like to let you know, if you haven't seen already, in the Expo Pavilion Zone, there is a art in there with paintings. So I would like to especially invite you to the Nie Galeria opening art show at 7. I will be presenting there together with my colleague Monica, and there will be some music involved as well. So just wanted to let you know. All right, so once again, thank you for joining here, and we will take a short break, about 20 minutes, and we will be back here for the panel discussion powered by PwC as well. So once again, thanks to our judges, Ewelina Łukasik from PwC, Jose Miguel Salazar Hernandez from PwC CE, Daniel Rees, Investment Manager from UVC Partners, Michał Sobczyk, Regulatory and Public Affairs Manager at CE in Energy, and Maciej Majewski, CEO and Head of Acceleration. Thank you so much, and we'll be back here at 4 p.m. See you soon.